So competition's getting crazy. So we're like, you know what? Let's do something else. So we start scamming. So now, literally, we just started scamming the golden goose here. So what we were doing was we were buying hobby boxes, buying the megas, buying everything, putting little tears in the back, slipping out the packs, little X-Acto knife, pulling out the cards, going through it. Burrow Silver, pull that out, replace it with a Brandon Ayuk rookie back in there. So if you put a lot of nickels, it's going to go to the bottom. People are going to catch on. So you put one or two, and it just goes tick tick. When it goes to tick tick, oh, you just lost. Oh, let's go. Boom, spin it again. That's the thing. You never give anybody any chance to think. It was like boom, boom, boom. It was all just a big show. It was the Wild West back then. It was ridiculous. Like, you could just do whatever you wanted to. They didn't care, because remember, we weren't doing cases. We were doing a box here, a box there. So, if we would have 3 or 4 boxes, we'd rummage through a couple of them. We find the auto or whatever, replace it with a shit auto, take our auto out so we could resell it in the packs, or keep it or sell it on eBay or whatever.
But the cream rise to the top. Oh yeah.
Today I'm lucky enough to talk with Phil. He has been in the hobby for some time now. He was breaking. He was also, I think, on both sides of breaks, but he has a lot of insight and inside knowledge. Phil, welcome. And maybe you could give us a little bit. Hey,
back then, because it was the Wild West back then. It was ridiculous. Like, you could just do whatever you wanted to. They didn't care. But I didn't know that
when Whatnot started.
Oh yeah, it was nothing. So what happened was, you would put your stuff out on Instagram, then it would be a friend of a friend that knows a recruiter for Whatnot, and you'd be like, okay, whatever, and then you would tag them in your posts, of your posts of your breaks, and then if they liked it, if you had good people in the comments, good followings, you're filling your breaks, they would just automatically just get you in their beta stage. No parameters, no nothing, just here you go. Here's your create your sign in, create your login, blah, 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 promote, here it is. And the app was prehistoric. It was like, and it was just, there was no wheels, there was no nothing. If you wanted a wheel, you had to get one off Amazon. You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta do the wheel off Amazon, and you do it on your thing, you put it in front of the camera.
I remember those days, but not playing. I was not playing, but I remember seeing that content. Yeah. No, most people have a digital wheel now.
Yeah, it's going right on the app now. So, and listen, I still get into breaks every once in a while. But it's just because it's entertainment for me. But the thing is that the other side of breaking is very. So it's very shady, is to say the least. So
is it really profitable, or the reason it's shady is because people need to make the profit?
Well, here's the thing.
It's too easy.
Here's the thing. Back then, the prices weren't astronomical, and retail was still really good. So you would go, and we'd have people that we would backdoor from at Target or Walmart. You have your people, and this was during the COVID time when I really started. So let me just backtrack. Then I got hired onto Whatnot, and we started breaking. Then I got my brand. I got all my stuff. I was ready to go breaking 5-6 nights a week. And you were taking losses all the time. Like, there was losses. There was times where we killed it, and there were some times where we were good, but then we're getting on other channels. And this was when, like, Backyard Breaks was nobody. Like, I was there with them. Like, we had the same amount of people in our breaks. They were getting their name. It was, all these guys that you see now, these big people, these were on when I was on, and there was probably only 20 to 30 breakers on the app. And if no one was on, no one was on. Like, they were exclusive, but not really. The reason they were exclusive is there wasn't a lot of people breaking. That's the thing. There wasn't people breaking at all, So, back then, if you were doing it and you were established and you had a plan, you were successful. If you were getting on there, you were promoting, people were going to get on and people were going to buy your stuff. Then I'd have like singles nights, and I was selling the stupidest cards. It was like cards that were probably like 5 cents.
Especially
now.
At that time.
Oh God. And then so then we got a name, and then right when we started really getting momentum, COVID hit. So now things were doubling and tripling in terms of the profit. So it's like, oh my God, like I'm paying $60 for. And I know these guys that are listening definitely know select megas from 2020. 2020 with Burrow and Herbert and Tua, they like carried your breaks throughout the week. And then if God forbid you got a hobby, it was like the biggest thing. So if you had a hobby break, it was like, whoa, because everything was worth, a Tua card now is what, $10. Back then they were selling for like $250, like raw. A Herbert was like $500. The Prisms were going for $500 raw. You know what I mean? A silver was going for like close to $1,000 ungraded, so it was like, these were like things that, you pull an auto, crazy pulling auto. So, like,
and at that time, prices were going up and up and up every week, no matter what it was.
Crazy. And we had an inside, so we would be walking out of Walmart or Target with a case of megas. We weren't stealing it, we were paying for it, but it was getting backdoored because, we were taking care of the Target people or the Walmart people, and that's it. Be like, hey, we're coming, blah, blah, blah. We were fighting the other people who were getting backdoored. Do you understand? Like, we weren't on the line, we were fighting the people in the back because we were making the money to do it, and we were on and we were doing it. Because what happened at the time, background is that I'm a teacher as well, and that's how kind of you and I bond. So I was not out of work, but there was no school. So I was going out every day, and I have my daughter with me. She didn't have school, and we were just product. And we didn't have to buy hobby because retail was selling like crazy. So we would just break. And then,
so, go ahead. No, go.
No, go ahead.
No, so you're open. I am curious about that thought though. What were you going to say? Or if you remember, if not, we'll move on.
Because what was happening was, what I was going to say was people, once that got to a point, people started getting a jump on breaking. So now there's more competition because they're getting more product too. Because now product is really starting.
And it was moving like hotcakes, so it made sense to get it and scalp it. Basically, scalpers getting it and then moving it, but in breaks.
Yes, and it wasn't. And scalper. And here's the thing too: like scalpers would sell to me. Like if I didn't get as much as I needed, I would go to a scalper and pay, a scalper price, but it didn't matter because I'm breaking at top dollar and filling everything every time. But then why did you get, breaking can't be as big as it was then, but is it still profitable? And then we have to get to what are things that you saw or you did or you think people should look out for in breaks? Well, that's what I was getting. That's what I was definitely just going to get into. So what happened is that once COVID hit, a lot of people started to break, and then Whatnot started to explode. So now Whatnot's starting to explode, and now they're churning out more people, more breakers. There's a lot more. The app's getting a little better. Still the Wild West, still a lot of crap going on. But now there's competition. Now you have to be creative. Now you just can't get on and just fill a break because now it's like you're doing this, who's doing that, and repacks were definitely around. They were just branded differently. They were called mysteries or all that. There was no digital stuff or anything like that. You were filling up an envelope. You were literally filling up the envelopes that you were sending people their shipment. You were filling that up with a slab, and then it was like HGA. So you weren't even paying PSA prices because they were so backed up, but everyone was buying anything. So it didn't matter. So we just stuffing it with HGA, and it was colorful and all this other stuff going through other grading companies and just throwing a slab in there. And it didn't matter. So then what happened? So basically what we started to do was we're not filling these breaks as quickly as we can and in this time too, we were trying to get a distributor. So we were working to get a distributor at this point, but so competition's getting crazy. So we're like, you know what? Let's do something else. So we start scamming. So now literally we just started scamming. So prime example, what I told you before is, so when you see the repacks, okay, repackers are getting on, and now the big reputable companies, they're probably not doing this. Like You know, the big dogs, they're not doing that. They're paying top dollar for
But guys that are worried about their business, or they're having a tough time making money. It's
Yeah.
easy. The guys we see on Whatnot.
Yes, because there were no big dogs yet. You understand? Like back when I was doing it, there was no big dogs. It was just people on there breaking. You know, there was no like industry standard yet. You know what I mean? It was just like people on breaking, you know, and it's just like if you have the means to do it, the time to do it, you're the guy doing it. They like you, you know, you are a personality, and they're going to keep
Now
coming
there's
back to you.
real established brands.
Exactly. Meanwhile, you know, we're snickering behind their backs because we're like, you know what? Why even bother with the distributorship? We'll just grade a bunch of slabs and we'll throw them in there, and everyone's paying jacked up prices for them anyway. We're just paying, we're pulling those cards. So let me tell you how we got to the repacks, because this is the golden goose here. So what we were doing was we were buying hobby boxes, buying the megas, buying everything, putting little tears in the back, slipping out the packs, little X-Acto knife, pulling out the cards, going through it. Burrow Silver, pull that out, replace it with a Brandon Ayuk rookie, back in there. Okay, put it back. There you go. Pull
How
out
do you
another
seal
one.
it back?
Huh?
How do you seal it back? Or it doesn't matter. You're the
Seal
one
it
ripping
back.
it.
Lick it. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's all manipulation when you're in front of it. Back then there was no HD, there was no recording. If you didn't screen record, it didn't matter. Like, this is what I'm saying. Back then it was the Wild West. You know what I mean? And there's no way that this stuff isn't going on now. It's just more sophisticated. It definitely is, because I know what to look for when I go on these other Whatnot. Like, I try to go on the smaller ones sometimes just to see. That's why I got in touch with you, because I'm like, this shit still goes on. It still goes on. You know, like you could see it. The minute someone takes something off the screen, it's scam. Because that's what I did every time. They could tell you yes, they could tell you whatever. No, it's not us, but it's a scam, bro. Every single time. There's no reason why you take these hands off of the screen ever without you doing something. I used to have a whole plethora of cards that I would swap, you know, dropped it. And I would say, my fat fingers, my fat Italian fingers, you know, like something like that.
And then bam, you just pick up a different card.
They trust you. You build the trust. You build this, he's a jerk, blah, blah, blah. You know, meanwhile, as I'm saying it, I'm swapping cards. And now I'm getting these cards that I'm taking in breaks and taking out a sealed product, sealing it back. And it's just boom. You know, it's like, here you go. There it is. Like, you know, and now I'm getting stuff for my repacks that I'm going to send out and get graded. And then I'm just going to put singles out. Now I'm going to start selling singles, you know, and those singles, so I have a singles night. So now I'm getting money in the breaks, getting money from the cards I'm taking out of it. You know what I mean? And no one knows anything, you know, Whatnot could care less. Every once in a while you get somebody say, hey, you know, like blah, 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 nothing. Not once. I had to do it over 200 times. Easily. Not once did one person say, that box looks a little off. You know, the shrink wrap isn't the way it's supposed to be, because just you use an X-Acto knife, cut it out from the bottom, slip out the packs. No one knows anything. You know, the ones that you see the people scamming, they're just buffoons. They're not doing it right. There's plenty of people on there doing it the right way and scamming you the right way. The big dogs, I don't, they got too much to lose at this point, because they're making money hand over foot like they are, you know, right. Well, you know, something that I've been doing is, if you could see, I have my collection in the back. I sell to some of these guys. So when you see the repacks, there's some of my cards that I just get bored with, or I grade and they're not the grade I want. I don't want them on my PC. I have a couple guys that actually come to my house and they buy for the repacks. So what they do with them, I don't know. But in terms of the supply chain, I've definitely supplied a lot of the guys on Fanatics and a lot of the guys on Whatnot that are doing repacks. I've seen my cards there. You know, I know it. You know, like I've seen the number. I know, or they tell me like, these are going to be in this one, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I know those big dogs. I can't say for certain, but they definitely aren't like those smaller ones that you're seeing on those channels. And if you go through Whatnot, you're seeing it a lot. So if you're a noob, like, you really got to look. That's why some of these guys on here, I just shake my head when you're talking to them. I'm like, oh God, you got scammed 1,000,000 times, bro. It's so bad. And it got
how bad is the price? You know, I've heard like some of these rooms will have people in the bidding to up the price or to make it, or maybe they go high. If they're selling singles, they'll have someone bid to build it up, and then the momentum's going. And
so
anyways,
so what we would do with that is, if a break wasn't going the way we wanted and the auctions weren't going the way we wanted to, I had a second phone. I used my daughter's phone. I used my buddies had phones. I had a phone right next to me. I had people who, because at this point we were churning out a lot of stuff and we were doing really well. So I actually hired people to pack for me. So they come to my house, they were shill bidding for me. So I would just text them, listen, and it's right while I'm here, it's not going the way it's supposed to. Let's go. And they get on, boom, all these fake accounts, pop, 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 and then pop it. And then all of a sudden the bids start to pop. And they're not doing it the whole time. It's just to get the momentum in the room, because once people start seeing that, they come in and they get caught up in the hoopla. That's what it is. It's like a big show. It's a big show. That's what people don't understand. It's a facade. You turn that on and it's literally a casino in your face with sports cards. That's it. When you walk into a casino, you say, oh. When you walk into breaks, that's what people want. And if you love sport, I love sports cards. I love it. So for me, when I walk in, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like when I go into the big dogs in them and I want to get into a big break, I'm like, oh, this room's good. I like this setup. I don't like a lot of words. I don't want to read a lot of stuff. I want glitz and glamour. Bah, 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 bah. And that's what we did. We had the wheel. Remember I was telling you about the wheel with the weighted nickels. So I had the wheel, those little carnival wheels, you could buy them on Amazon for $10. What you would do is you have it set up a certain way to where your mystery packs are set up on that with a certain number. And the number, back then it was LaMelo Ball was the big get in the NBA. So we had a LaMelo Ball. If the LaMelo Ball goes first, that whole mystery pack, that whole session on whatnot is done, because nobody's going to be bidding, because that was the big get at that time. One of those, I think we had may have been a flawless or whatever. It wasn't important. It was a card up to like 3K, and it graded out of 10. It was beautiful. If that card goes first, which it very well can, you're screwed. You're screwed, So we did one of two things. You would either put the wheel and you would weight the wheel like they would the carnies at a carnival, and you put nickels. So it always goes to the bottom. So it never stays. It always just goes ticks a little bit. So if you put a lot of nickels, it's going to go to the bottom. People are going to catch on. So you put one or two and it just goes tick, tick. When it goes to it, tick, tick. Oh, you just lost. Oh, let's go. Boom, spin it again. That's the thing. You never give anybody any chance to think. It was like boom, 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 boom. It was all just a big show. I'm not a wrestling fan, but I did like a wrestling thing, and what we did pack battles, and we almost got in trouble with whatnot, because at that time you couldn't gamble and nothing. So someone had to get something. That was the big thing back then. They would get you for someone. So if I pay for something, I have to be getting something, not for the breaks, for the auctions, for the mystery packs. You have to get something back in the mail. Do you understand? So that was the big thing back then. I don't know if it's still like that, but you would get in trouble for that. So we would yeah.
You also mentioned something that someone else said. So like they do those 5-second go, with the singles.
Sudden
you
death.
mentioned like, so people can't think.
Sudden
people
death.
Can't think. They can't look up comps. They just get caught up. And so you mentioned in your strategy, people just, you want to keep it moving, it sounds like, and don't give them time to think. I lost your, you got a phone call? I can't hear you.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I lost my mic. Go ahead. Repeat that question. You could edit. You chop that up.
What was the fuck I asked you? No, you mentioned, okay, so you mentioned how you don't want to give them time to think. So I've heard that those 5-second, single things, it's like they don't have time to look up comps. They don't have time to think. You build a little momentum in the beginning, people get caught up, and now there's no time to think. So the strategy is, or one strategy, at least if you're looking for a scammer or someone not doing something right, is not giving people time to think.
Yeah, you don't give people any time to think. And they definitely have somebody that's hitting that first bid. There's somebody hitting that first bid, because sometimes those cards are double and triple of the comps. And a perfect example is I was in there just screwing around one night. I was bored. It was like my daughter's practice, and the guy was selling singles, and he was doing not sudden death, but he was doing. It was an Aaron Judge PSA 10, not even a refractor. Card went for like $125 on the auction. Literally, the card was probably 25 comped, like $25 comped. It was like a 23, nothing special. And, you know, I like it because I like Judge, whatever. So, you know, I get in on the bidding, and then all of a sudden it just shoots up like a custom bid. Like what is that? You know what I mean? And then I got caught up myself. Like, I'm like, oh, they're manipulating it. And so then I looked, and every single card that the comp you just know is low went way over comp. And it was the same person bidding. I was like, they're not even hiding it anymore. It's not even hidden anymore. They don't even care. Like, we used to put different screen names. You know, we would have different people, you know, it would be different profiles, different everything. So no, you know, because we were getting ahead of ourselves, thinking that people were gonna catch us. We were always thinking a step ahead. But they don't even do that anymore. Some of these channels, it's terrible. And I mean, that was really weighing on me hard, because I was like, there's this one guy, like he said, he was like, this is my last 35 for the week. I'm like, dude, last 35 for the week, like for like the Niners and like a break for like 3 megas and like 2 hangers. I'm like, what the, like, why, like, really? You know what I mean? And he was drunk as a skunk. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is terrible. Like, it's absolutely terrible what's going on, because you're scamming people constantly all day. And the reason why you keep doing it is because it's the easy way to make the money. Now, I'm not saying now, because I'm not in it. I'm on the other side. But back then, Wild West. The app was the Wild West. And we were getting invited on Loop. We got invited. I'm trying to think. There was actually like, there was a lot of people in Silicon Valley trying to make apps at that time for breaking, because breaking really started. So I was getting a lot of invites to be an exclusive breaker.
What was your breaking name?
Should I say it?
That's up to you. I don't know. It adds legitimacy if you say, but maybe you don't want to say it now.
I mean, if you want, if it's still there, I mean, it's still there. I have no desire to ever break again. So it was cool. If you want to look it up on whatnot, it's Stranger Pulls. It's still there. It's Stranger, like Stranger Things, Stranger Pulls with a Z. And it's still there. It's still active. And that was the second account, because the first one was literally just a pure scamming, taking packs out of hobby boxes, taking everything out of everything. And it's like, you know, when that thing happened with the Kaboom with Backyard Breaks, we were still breaking, and I'm like, oh man, this sucks. Like, now there's going to be eyes on everything. I'm like, oh, we got to reevaluate. We got to see nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing.
That wasn't that long ago. I think that was 2023.
Yeah, that was right around when we stopped, because COVID came to an end. I stopped, and then I had tragedy in my life that we spoke about, and I kind of got out of it. And that's when I went completely the opposite direction, you know. And the break, they don't care about you. They you know, you're a screen name. You know, I couldn't tell you anyone that was in my breaks every night spending thousands of dollars. I couldn't even tell you their screen name now. I couldn't even tell you their screen name if they stopped breaking with me next week. You know, if I was a breaker now, I wouldn't even, because it's on to the next one. You know, it's like, and it's sad, but you know, this is what it is. It's a business when it comes down to it, you know, and like, people don't care. You know, people don't care. They care about you though, because you're making waves. You are definitely making waves, my friend.
I've heard that, you know, okay, a break won't sell out, so they'll call their whale or their guy who's a customer, and they'll offer him, you know, the last 12 teams or something at a discount or at a good rate. So he comes in and buys the last 12 teams to help fill a break. So sometimes the breaks are not as easy to fill as we might believe.
All right, here. I could show you on my phone right now. I bought it into a break of Topps basketball. Bought the Spurs spot on Monday, because he hit me up because he knows I only do certain type of product when it comes out. And I like the Topps paper stuff because it's just what I like. I like Chrome. And I'm an NBA guy, but only for certain players. You may hate me, but I'm a Wemby guy. I just like it. I'm a Kobe guy.
Oh, I love Wemby.
Yeah,
I just hate how many cards.
So it's like I'm trying to, but I'll go for it on eBay. You know what I mean? So it's not a big deal at this point. But
what happened with the breaker?
This was Monday. We're on Saturday now. He's only halfway through. He can't fill it. There's no one in his room. He can't. And this breaker can fill up breaks. Like he's got good prices. He's a good breaker. He's on Fanatics, and it's like literally every single day. It's been 15 out of 30. He has not sold anything, and he's on for hours. Because I look at the replay. I'm like, did we break? Did we break? I go to my watch. Nothing. No break. And I'm like, I want a refund at this point because it's like I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I'll go back and do something else. You know what I mean? But it's not filling up the way it is for everyone. Listen, there's guys out there on Fanatics that they fill up in 2 seconds. And Gio's break room is great. I've broken there before with them. His prices are great. He's fair. He's straight up. So that kind of stuff, when people say that he's whatever, that's not true. I've been in his room. He's got the fairest prices, and his breaks fill quick because he's honest. He shoots the shit with people, and he's very personable. He's a salesman. He is who he is. Like that. You can't. Do I think he's doing everything above board? Who knows? But in his break room, 100%, I trust him. I don't think he's opening up boxes at all. He got too much to lose. You know what I mean? So I would. So
yeah, the higher or bigger you are, more established, the less room maybe they're messing with you. But the lower end breakers, it's really hard to be competitive, and they might be messing around.
But you're also paying top dollar in those rooms now at this point. Like, you go to one room and you're paying $4.99 for the Spurs. You go on this other one and you're going to be paying $6 or $7.99 for the Spurs. Same exact break, because you're in the room, and what you're paying for is, you're getting it. The break is filling, and they're a name brand. So if you don't want to pay that price, I'll just find 3 other idiots in 5 seconds that'll fill it up. That's exactly what those are with the big dogs, and it's the same product. It's the same product. I really don't think they're giving juiced boxes and all that stuff. I mean, I've
that might be over. They might have at one point for marketing reasons, but I think it's been hard to tell. Yeah, I feel that could be over. I don't know. I thought for a time.
Yeah, I mean, Run Good Life does it. He's good. I've broken there before. It's names you trust. And unfortunately, right. I was a name that people trusted, and I was doing everything under the sun to make a quick buck, and that was what it was. I mean, that's how it is, and they still to this day contact me. I don't know if they see this, they're going to contact me anymore, but they to this day, I still get recruited. I sent you the text of them still recruiting me. It's like, it's just crazy. I have a Kaboom story of my own. So, and actually, I'll do the downtown story. So I have a downtown story myself. So we were opening Optic, obviously, and it was when downtowns were the shit. Like, they still are, but it was like downtown was like, whoa. So it was 2020, and we were opening boxes in the back. We were taking them out from the bottom. We were opening a couple packs. Because what we did was we didn't rummage through the whole box, because remember, we weren't doing cases. We were doing a box here, a box there. So, if we would have 3 or 4 boxes, we'd rummage through a couple of them. We find the auto or whatever, replace it with a shit auto, take our auto out so we could resell it in the packs, or keep it or sell it on eBay or whatever. Long story short, we open up the Optic packs, and we pull a gold Jalen Hurts. The first Jalen Hurts one, and Jalen Hurts was, he wasn't a Super Bowl, but he was one of the guys. He was one of those quarterbacks. So we pull the card out, and we fill the break. We do whatever. We send the card out to get graded. It comes back. We do the fast service. It comes back real quick. We do a mystery pack, and we say, this card is, the main card to get. We manipulated that repack down to when it was just that card in the pack. And whatever card was left. We literally whittled it down. We had 50 packs on the board. And what we did was we literally just marked the envelope with a little marking on the back. And what we did was we acted as though it fell. Like I kicked the table. It falls like a stack of dominoes, right? We rummaged through as we're putting them back. We swapped the one out. So now we have this one on the bottom. So now I have it right here. Because remember, you don't see my face. It's just the hands. And back then, there was no HD. There was nothing, Jay. There was nothing. You know, it was just you on the screen, your camera, and the product. That was it. Whatever you're doing down here, that was, you know, there's nothing. There's nothing on the screen. There's nothing. It's just the chat. And we leave it on the bottom. We run through the whole thing. We finally get down to it. I'm like, all right, let's go. Da, da, da. I bring out this gong, like it's like a gong. We start banging the gong. My buddy's banging the gong. So now it's like sleight of hand. We have everybody here on the gong. What I do is I just act like I'm rearranging the pack. And we're so excited. I drop the one pack, it falls, and I pick it up, put the Jalen Hurts back up. So now you have the two left. So the entire time that Hurts is sitting in my lap, the entire time, I knew no one was going to hit it. We acted like everyone was going to be the hit. And in the end, and then of course we're like, oh, we're going to be good with this. And we made it be the second to last one. We're like, we'll take the last hit on the last one. The last bid got up to $3,500. Literally $3,500 off of a stolen card from a box that we profited before. We profited from it the day before in an optic.
Because if it was hitting the 24th, no one would be bidding on the rest.
Yeah, if it was the first couple ones, that's it. You know, and like I said, I this is all stuff. I came on because I wanted to tell you. You know, I contacted you. You know, we've been talking daily for months, and I wanted to say that, you know, I felt bad. I cleared my conscience. I could not sleep doing this anymore. It was terrible. So I don't know how these guys can live with themselves, especially knowing that some of their whales are losing their ass. They're losing their ass. They're maxing out their credit cards. They're not paying a couple bills. Like they're not. You know, I have a buddy of mine who maxes his credit card out constantly on breaks, nothing to show for it. You know, he doesn't, you know, the couple of your guys come on and say that there's strategies to it. There is strategies to breaks. Only in PYT random, there's no strategy. I mean, if you do, you're lying to yourself. But a PYT, maybe.
And there's still some luck.
Yeah, and there
could be strategy, but it's still very luck based.
Well, I mean, strategy. When I say strategy, not losing your ass completely.
Sure.
That's strategy in breaking. Not losing your ass completely. Not completely walking away with a couple base cards, you know what I mean? Or your top card, you know, you pull a out of 10 guy on the team and it's a $50 card, you know what I mean? So you're going after the higher teams. Of course, you're paying more, but you know, you go after the big teams that have a lot of guys in it, you know. So, you know, these guys know what they're doing. You know, it's just my conscience. I couldn't do it anymore. I felt so bad because these guys they literally were texting me, begging me, and putting them on. Like I had a tab. I felt like a bar at that point, you know, and what I was doing too is I was saying these guys were paying me. And so I would just put paid in the app and then they'd have a tab and some of them would pay me at the end of the week when they got paid. I'd be like, hey, you got to square up or else you can't break anymore. You know, and it was literally, they were literally like addicts, you know.
That's how bookies work.
Yeah, it was like terrible. I'm like, all right, this guy owes me 150. This guy owes me for this break. This guy owes me for that. And it's like I'm collecting money off the app. You can't. I mean, maybe you could do that now. You know what I mean? But back then, you could do whatever you wanted on that app because
now it's a little more controlled, probably. Yeah,
which they have to because there's Fanatics. If you're going to break, I would 100% go on Fanatics because Fanatics is way more controlled and those guys have a lot to lose because you're paying premiums for it. And, it's just a better app all the way around. I haven't really gone on eBay because I just like the quick, but I'm not really breaking. I'm doing it every once in a while, but I did it for a while. I was into it. It was fun, but now I just go on and buy singles. And
that's what I'm saying.
And that's it. And I've been, like I said, I've been selling to repackers. That's like the big. So it's like that's the big thing I've been doing too. Selling to guys who.
Yeah, they're offering a high price right now, and they're buying almost everything, or especially the right thing. But they're buying almost everything.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, there's scams everywhere. You just got to be careful.
Phil, it was great having you on, and yeah, definitely calling it
You
live.
really
I
gotta
mean,
be
for sure.
careful, man. A lot of these guys, yeah, definitely.
What up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, aka Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cards. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.